The two last NFL MVPs were both young black quarterbacks under the age of 25. Of course, everyone remembers Patrick Mahomes, and they remember Lamar Jackson from last season. But there's another young black quarterback under the age of 25 that tends to go under the radar just because many people see him as in their shadow. But I guarantee he'll given a chance to shine, this dude will perform. How you guys doing? It is July 10th, 2020 here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this installment of The Elite, I'm just going to go into why I think Deshaun Watson is an elite young player and shouldn't be completely counted out, especially when compared to players in his own conference, such as Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. So here's basically what's going on with Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson's fresh out of Gainesville, Georgia. He was a top level he was a top prospect in his class, and he was setting like state records in yards, touchdowns, passing yards, whatever. Right, he was an elite level prospect. He was a USA Today high school All-American. Right. After this, he goes to Clemson with Dabo Swinney, and he becomes the backup his freshman year. While starting, he becomes the backup to Cole Stout. He throws for 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in the 8 games that he plays. But no, he's getting his buckets. 2015 as a sophomore, he finished the season passing for 4,100 yards, rushing for over 1,000. He had 5,000 total yards with 47 total touchdowns, 13 interceptions. No, Deshaun Watson was that dude in 2015. They were to go on to beat the Sooners, and they would lose to Alabama in the championship game 45-40. No, but Deshaun Watson proved that he was one of the best young players. He was a consensus All-American. He was the ACC Offensive Player of the Year, the ACC Player of the Year, a Heisman Trophy finalist. He was a Manning Award winner. He was that's how good his sophomore season was. And Clemson was really, really good. They made it to the championship, and he was one of the big reasons that they were there. He was making the big passes. He was winning the games that he needed to win to get Clemson that far. And then his junior year, he would have go on to throw for 4,600 yards, rush for 700, so he had another 5,000 total yard season. He threw for 41 touchdowns. He had 17 interceptions, but he threw for 41 touchdowns. That year, Clemson would go on to beat Alabama because they went on to beat Ohio State 31-0 in the Fiesta Bowl, and then they beat Alabama in the championship game. Deshaun Watson had the game-winning pass, and he ended up beating Alabama. That's the legend of Deshaun Watson up through college. He had already been a proven winner. He had gotten Clemson to the promised land. He didn't win a Heisman, but at the same time, he was still a Davey O'Brien winner, ACC Athlete of the Year, a Manning Award winner, Heisman Trophy runner-up that year. No, but Deshaun Watson was that dude. He won the Golden Arm Award, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Best male college athlete, SB. He was a college football national champion. That's what Deshaun Watson was as a college player. He was an elite college player that went up and eventually beat the Goliath that was Alabama in the 2010s. And following all that, he was taken 12th overall in the 2017 draft behind names such as Mitch Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs traded up to trade him. I think the Texans traded up to get Deshaun Watson, but of course that was a pick that would end up probably saving the Houston Texans. So in his first year, he would only start 6 games. He would play 7, do for 1,700 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, his first season was kind of a mess, but I mean, he did what he could. He was named to the All-Rookie team, and the Houston Texans that year finished 4-12. I mean, didn't really do anything, but nothing really happened for the Texans that year. In Deshaun Watson's second year, he was to go on to be a Pro Bowler, playing and starting in 16 games, throwing for 4,100 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He got sacked the most times in the NFL, but I mean he was definitely really doing his own thing, and he ran for 600 yards on the ground. So that was the year that Deshaun Watson he made himself known as an elite passer in football. In 2018, they would go on to finish first in the AFC South, and they would lose to the Colts in the first round of the playoffs in the wild card under Bill O'Brien. But no, in his second year, Deshaun Watson had led a team that was 4-12 the year before, might I say. He led that team to the playoffs. They would lose in the first round, but that was Deshaun Watson at 23 years old after making his first Pro Bowl. In his second season, he would start 15 games as the Texans would go on and finish 10-6, and Watson would sit out the last one. He would throw for 3,800 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Not as good as his last season, but he got sacked less. He completed 67% of his passes, and he was still he was doing his own thing. He also missed one game compared to the season before. But that year, they would beat the Bills in overtime in the wild card 22-19, and then they would go on to lose by allowing 51 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. But Deshaun Watson is helping make this Texans team better. They're getting an inch better every single time, and I wouldn't count them out to possibly sneak into the championship, to sneak into the Super Bowl and probably win one. Deshaun Watson is an elite, proven winner to me. At every single level, he's exceeded expectations, and I think he will go down as longevity wise as an elite passer. But since he came out in the same year as Patrick Mahomes, he'll always sort of be in that shadow, and that's something that's kind of unavoidable. But in his own right and as his own player, Deshaun Watson is an elite passer of the football. I will tune in to watch the Texans in the playoffs, definitely, even without DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson can find his receivers. Deshaun Watson is a very, very, very good quarterback that I'm saying if I was a Houston Texans fan, I'd be very glad to have Deshaun Watson, because with the quarterback, with the franchise option, he's probably going to stay in Texas for most of his careers, or he's going to stay in Houston for most of his career. So I'd like to see him eventually one day win it, because I know that if his legs go, he can still pass the ball better. He's probably a top 10 passer in the NFL. I'd make that argument right now. But he is definitely a player I wouldn't count out. He's one of my favorites. He's from Atlanta, so that's I got a little soft spot for dudes from Atlanta. But I mean it. After seeing what he did to overcome Alabama, seeing what he's done to get the Texans into the playoffs, the 2 years that he's actually started. I have to recognize Deshaun Watson as an elite young quarterback, and I feel like most football fans, if they don't consider him elite, they at least respect him as a very good young player. For a 24-year-old quarterback, they acknowledge Deshaun Watson as an elite quarterback. And with that, I appreciate you for listening to all 8.5 minutes of this. This is another player who's he's in his prime now, so just watch him now. This is probably the beginning of his prime. He has a lot of good years ahead of him, but just watch him. Take the chance to see him. And with all that, I wish you the best. I'm going to sign off by saying peace.